Welcome to Venture Onward. A major shift in the landscape of DC Comics is unfolding. A universe that redefined representation in storytelling in the 1990s is being folded directly into main continuity. Milestone Media, the groundbreaking imprint founded in 1993, is no longer operating at the edges of canon. It is now part of the core DC Universe timeline, and it begins with new history of the DC Universe, the Dakota Incident. In 1993, Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis, Christopher Priest, and Derek T. Dingle launched Milestone Media. At a time when mainstream superhero comics struggled with meaningful diversity behind the scenes and on the page, Milestone was built by black creators determined to tell layered, culturally grounded stories. Milestone titles stood alongside the dominant forces of Marvel Comics and DC Comics, carving space within broader comic book history while maintaining editorial independence through distribution partnerships. One of Milestone's flagship titles was Hardware. Curtis Metcalf, a child prodigy and engineering genius, discovers his mentor and employer has exploited his intellect for corporate gain. That betrayal fuels his transformation into Hardware. His armor is not symbolic, it's tactical warfare. Chrome-plated bulk over an obsidian undershell, wired with high-density circuitry. He deploys hand cannons, plasma whips, a chain scythe, weaponry that blends precision tech with street-level aggression. Dennis Cowan's artwork amplifies the character's presence, presenting Hardware as towering and mythic. The book delivered fast-paced combat while exploring class exploitation and corporate corruption, themes rarely centered in early 90s DC comic book arcs or mainstream Marvel comic book stories. Hardware wasn't just a tech hero, he was a moral reckoning wrapped in steel. Virgil Hawkins, better known as Static, became Milestone's most recognizable character. A high school student at Ernest Hemingway High, Virgil balances adolescence with electromagnetic powers triggered during the Big Bang event that created Dakota's metahumans. Dwayne McDuffie's physics background shaped Static's power development. Electricity wasn't vague energy, it required experimentation, grounding, conductivity, and creativity. Virgil's intelligence drove the action. Visually, Static embodied 90s identity, trenchcoat flowing, lightning pattern suit, signature cap. His humor, curiosity, and confidence placed him alongside icons of Spider-Man comics and other defining teen heroes. Static's cultural footprint expanded with the animated series Static Shock, introducing him to a broader audience and cementing his role among memorable DC superheroes. But the comics remained foundational, sharp, energetic, and socially aware. Icon and Rocket delivered a different dynamic. Augustus Freeman IV, revealed to be an alien who crash-landed in the American South during the 19th century, adopts the identity of a wealthy conservative businessman. His natural physiology grants him super strength, flight, durability, and energy manipulation. Raquel Irvin, a teenager from Paris Island, challenges him. She convinces him to become a hero. He, in turn, becomes her mentor. Rocket's inertia belt allows her to manipulate kinetic energy, generate force fields, and fly. But her most significant power is perspective. The series tackled socioeconomic divides, political ideology, and generational tension head-on. The art, bold, operatic, expansive, elevated the book into the ranks of essential graphic novels and respected comic book collections. This was not surface-level heroism. It was debate in motion. Though Milestone ceased publishing in 1997, its influence rippled outward. Themes of representation and grounded storytelling later became central to modern Marvel superheroes, evolving DC Comics adaptations, and broader conversations around diversity in the industry. Milestone's DNA can be traced through ongoing discussions in comic book analysis, retrospectives on Marvel Comics history, and renewed interest in inclusive storytelling across both publishers. Now, DC is making it official. New history of the DC Universe. The Dakota Incident will integrate Milestone's events and characters directly into the central DC timeline. The one-shot expands upon Mark Waid's 4-issue miniseries chronicling the history of the DC Universe from the Golden Age to the present. Writers Joseph Illidge, Stephanie Williams, Morgan Hampton, and Nicholas Draper-Ivey are spearheading this chapter. This means Dakota City is no longer parallel. It is present. Milestone heroes now exist within the same canonical framework as the Justice League, reshaping the architecture of the DC narrative landscape. The release date is set for February 25th. Dwayne McDuffie passed away in 2011, but his work continues to shape modern storytelling. Readers revisiting the original stories can access them through the Milestone Compendium, preserving a cornerstone chapter of comic book history and spotlighting some of the best comic books of the 1990s. A universe once operating independently now stands inside the core of DC storytelling. Dakota City is no longer separate. It is canon. Please subscribe, like, and click the notifications for more content. This is Venture Onward, reporting where the panels turn next.